Super Bowl has found its way into the month of February. When we think about the Super Bowl, we think about the two very best teams in the NFL. We think about the moments spent training and the years it takes to make it to the top of the field of candidates for just a few positions available on the 32 NFL teams. We certainly think about the season-ending injuries and the career and life-ending catastrophes. What about the love of the game? What about love, romantic love, the kind we always dreamed of? Can you imagine? Can you just imagine if you found that very, very best person, your person, being in love with them for the same individual, the same human being for 100 years? Well, Jimmy Carter was that man. He fell in love very early, and his attraction, admiration, fixation, and finally obsession for the love of his life lasted until the moment he took his last breath. Our title of our story today is The Super Bowl of Love, The Carters. Welcome to Dream Builders Diaries, building dreams one day at a time, one story at a time. I'm Genie Craff, and here at Dream Builders Diaries, we dive deep into the personal stories of entrepreneurs and artists and innovators and everyday visionaries just like you. We believe that every dream starts with a story worth telling. And by sharing these stories, we can aim to empower you to create your own dream and the story behind it. Before we get started, grab a piece of paper and a pencil if you don't already have one, and we will make sure that you get going. Inspiration, ideas, and dreams come and go very, very quickly. So don't let yours get away. Wow, wasn't February supposed to be scattered with hearts and Valentine's candy and, of course, love stories? This is a love story for the century based on a real, true love story. Many think of marriage as work, but do they feel the same way about being in love? In 1927 in Plains, Georgia, a 3-year-old boy named Jimmy Carter lived next door to an auto mechanic, Francis Smith, and his pregnant wife, Allie. That August, Allie went into labor, and Jimmy's mother, who was a nurse, came and helped deliver their daughter. The next day, little Jimmy went next door, and he was so excited he knocked politely and asked to see the new baby. He peered into the baby's bed. The baby was fast asleep. Jimmy asked what her name was, and her mommy told her the baby inside the crib was named Roselynn. Little did he know, but he had already fallen in love with the love of his life. He would play with little Roselynn whenever he could during those early years, and Roselynn grew to admire Jimmy through elementary school. She always knew when he was around because he made sure she knew when he was watching or teasing her. As a teenager, Rosie had a fierce crush on Jimmy, but he was 3 years older and apparently, thought Rosie, took little notice of the shy little kid next door. But there were friends enough to know where each other were living, and during World War II, he left town to join the Naval Academy. One day in the summer of 1945, Jimmy returned to Plains on vacation. While riding in the rumble seat of his friend's Ford, he looked towards the United Methodist Church and saw Rosie, now 17 and all grown up, standing in front of the church. He was gobsmacked. Oh my goodness. Jimmy yelled for his buddy, "Stop, stop!" He hopped out of the rumble seat and asked her to go to the movies. Not that night. No, not later. Right now. She jumped right in and off to the movies they went. He came home that night and told his mother that the baby she'd helped to deliver 17 years earlier was the girl he was going to marry. Wow. The marriage of Jimmy and Roselynn was the longest in presidential history. Before Roselynn's death, they had known each other for almost 100 years. Jimmy Carter had become the longest living president in presidential history. And on November 28, 2023, he left their home, the home the two of them had shared since early in their marriage, all except for the years they lived together in the White House, to attend the memorial service of his beloved wife, Roselynn Carter. Jimmy Carter, who had been in hospice care himself since February of 2023, made a rare public appearance to attend the memorial tribute at Glen Memorial Church in Emory University in Atlanta. The 99-year-old former president had a new suit made for the occasion and was accompanied by a physician when he left his home in Plains en route to the church and to return home. Roselynn Carter remained her husband's rock of support to the end. Jimmy and Roselynn were married for 77 years, the longest marriage of any first couple in U.S. history. Roselynn became the champion for mental health, and they both built a legacy outside of the White House through their humanitarian work. Who hasn't heard of Habitat for Humanity? The two Carters continued to build houses together until they were no longer physically able to. Amy Carter, the first couple's only daughter, tearfully read a letter Jimmy Carter had written to Roselynn 75 years ago while he was serving in the Navy. It said, she said, my mom spent most of her life in love with my dad. Their partnership and love story was a defining feature of my life, she said. Because he isn't able to speak to you today, I'm going to share some of his words about loving and missing her. In the letter, Jimmy Carter wrote, while I am away, I try to convince myself that you are not, could not be as sweet and as beautiful as I remember. But when I see you, I fall in love with you all over again. Does that seem strange to you? It didn't to anyone who observed this relationship, the relationship that these two shared. Amy Carter was often seen holding her father's hand throughout that service. Amy Lynn Carter and her husband, John Joseph Kelly, held hands as they followed a military honor guard carrying the casket of the late U.S. First Lady Roselynn Carter in Atlanta. A dozen political leaders were present for the invitation-only tribute service for the former First Lady, who died on November 19th, 2023, at the age of 96. Joseph and Jill Biden joined names like First Ladies Hillary Clinton and Laura Bush and Michelle Obama and Melania Trump. Yes, Roselynn was an amazing lady. I can see why they were so much in love for so long. Can you? Wow, can you imagine just finding that very first person, that very best person, and being in love for 100 years? Maybe the same is true about gathering resources and materials for a part of your dream. I hope it doesn't take you 100 years. So, what's your takeaway from our story today? What about your dream? Why this powerful diary story? Because this story demonstrates the magic behind the power of love and endurance found in those who strive and star in the Super Bowl. Both of these feats are remarkable and shine a light on the determination and resilience of a dream. I also share this diary because both Jimmy and Roselynn were focused on their own paths to greatness. James Earl Carter Jr. becoming the first president from Georgia. First Lady Roselynn Carter walked her own path, inspiring a nation and the world along the way in mental health advocacy. Yet the two found a great deal of time to spend together in building with Habitat for Humanity, in loving their children, and in love together. Dreamers, believe in yourselves. Be passionate, work smart, know your why, and apply what you learn each day. And as you ponder the source of your dream in this diary, I wish you well. I wish you an abundance of resources and knowledge and wisdom with your time and with your future success with your dream. Enjoy life and always, always be kind. I'm going to leave you with this quotation. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. That's by Robert Collins. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. The Carters knew that well. I want to offer special thanks to the Carters. Their love story is one most of us can learn something from. It wasn't about being perfect, and it wasn't about being consistent and caring more about your relationship than what might come next. This story is used to better understand how gathering our resources and materials brings our dreams to life. I just want to have you take a look at those two pieces of hardware back there. Both of them are worth the effort. Special thanks to those who listen to Dream Builders Diaries regularly. I am grateful to you. The honor to spend time with you is all mine. And if you don't have it yet, get your 90-day Dream Builders Diary by Genie Craff on Amazon. Take and share this diary. Subscribe. Contact us to tell your story. Thank you very much. And until next time, building dreams one story at a time.